Hello everyone, and I hope you cannot hear the children's TV. It's just a little bit louder than normal in an effort to keep the baby asleep. If the TV is as loud as the children are, she sleeps for a little bit longer. This video is going to be a long one, so if you're not interested in why I chose to wear a full covering when I'm going out and shopping or whatever, then don't watch it because it's really long. I was actually thinking about that the other day. Why is my hair such a big deal to me? Because for some reason it is. So I thought and thought and thought and thought. And besides the reasons I've already talked about, I came up with a few others. When I was a teenager, I wasn't supposed to cut it. I think I cut it once throughout my entire teenage period. And of course it grew right back very fast. My hair grows pretty quickly. And I used to coil it up in a big, I would berate it or just turn it into a big bun. And if any of the little stray hairs would tickle my face or my ears, it would drive me nuts. So I was always slicking it back with hairspray, and then I had this big, called it my cow pie, in the middle of my head. So I never really liked having long hair. And when I got married, my first husband didn't like me putting it in the bun. It was very severe looking, and I agree. But I didn't like having it down either. I just tolerated it. And of course, he wouldn't let me cut it. And during that time, people would come up and ask if they could touch my hair. Which, if you had permission, that was a little bit different. I had a few people come up and just stick their hands in my hair. And that's a problem. So my hair already was a big deal to me. And the fact that I couldn't cut it was a big deal, so on and so forth. So as soon as I got divorced, as soon as I divorced him, I cut it. I think I cut it right about shoulder length, and that was when I discovered how very much I truly hate it touching my face or my ears. It just drives me crazy, and I end up picking at my face and digging everywhere where it's tickled. So I cut it shorter and shorter and shorter. I think I had a boy cut for a little while, and then I had a pixie cut for a little while, and I had a mohawk for a little while, and then I just started shaving it. I prefer shaving it. There are a lot of reasons for that, and the main one is that it feels very liberating in a way, knowing that people aren't judging my beauty based off of my hair. So this last time I shaved it, I realized something else. I've kind of started leaning on it as, I don't know what the right word for that would be. It's kind of self-destructive in a way. It's not only liberating, but it's become something that I do to keep people from looking at me as being beautiful. And when people look at me and tell me that I'm beautiful, I always want to tell them back, no, don't appreciate my physical beauty. I would prefer that you like me for who I am. But of course you can't tell everybody that, and learning to say thank you when somebody compliments you that way is something that I'm working on. So this time I'm trying to grow my hair out for myself. And there have been several times in the past months that I've wanted to shave it again because I want to kind of shrink back into that shell. Every time I get a lot of attention that happens, I want to shave it again. So I recognize it for what it is, that it's, instead of being more of a healthy thing, it's now become something that isn't so healthy. So, of course, I started wrapping it as a control mechanism, to keep me from shaving it. As long as it's covered, I don't think about the hair being there. I don't think about, cutting it off or anything like that. So I wear this part all the time. And then I went out trick-or-treating with the children, and I covered it. I took a scarf like this, and let's see, the way I have this wrapped today. I put it like this. And when I went out trick-or-treating with the kids, the people coming to the door would come to the door and look at me and then retreat back into the house. And I thought, oh, that's kind of funny. That's a little weird. I wonder why they're behaving like that, because they're all my neighbors and I know them. So, I liked it so much. It was raining. I think I said that, which is why I covered it. I liked it so much that night. It kept my head really warm, because this is warm but not the same way. It kept my head and my neck really warm. So I started doing it every time I left the house. And it wasn't pinned or anything, but I got some really surprising reactions. People, I suppose it's not so surprising, but people would stop talking when I would enter a store and just stare at me. And a few people looked as though they were very angry, like they wanted to come up and say something, but they didn't. And I didn't realize exactly what it was coming from, because I get weird reactions to myself no matter where I go. And I never ask anybody. I'm walking up to somebody in a store and asking them why they're staring at you strange. But anyway, it all of a sudden occurred to me one day, maybe they think that I am Muslim. Maybe they're having a problem with my, what they supposed to be, religion. So I came home and I asked a friend, and he said more than likely that's what's going on. I thought, well, if they're going to assume, I might as well just go with it, because my choices to cover it have absolutely nothing to do with religion. My choices to cover my chest in videos, because in case anybody hadn't noticed, there's only 1 or 2 videos, maybe a few more than that, where I show. Most of the time I have a scarf on, or I'm making sure that the top to my shirt is fairly higher. I don't very often show much of my skin. I stay very modest in the videos, and a lot of the pictures I post are the same way. I just recently went through and deleted all of the ones that weren't on my Facebook. But there's an entirely separate reason for that. But anyway, I simply like covering my hair, and now I've started pinning it. I looked at hijabs, and I found several different ways of wearing it that are actually pretty cool, and it is way warmer. And with the ice and the snow that's going on right now, it's just way easier for me to cover it that way when I leave the house. I don't have to worry about the scarf falling down or coming off or being, misadjusted, because I'm pinning it in place. I'm still poking my head with the pins, but I like wearing it. And I don't care so much about being stared at because they assume that I'm doing it for religious reasons. I got stared at anyway before I would get stared at when I shaved my head, because I think everybody was assuming that I had cancer and they're pitying me for having no hair. But like I said, I've never asked anybody. I think someday maybe I will. Someday I'll walk up to somebody and ask them, okay, why are you staring at me? But it doesn't really matter to me. I don't care. I wear it because I want to. And if somebody has a problem with it or says something, then I can tell them, no, I wear it because I choose to, because I like to. I really prefer it. And I don't think at this point in time I'm going to give up wearing something on my hair. I've kind of become attached to it. I don't know if you guys know this. Maybe a few of you do who actually talk to me on Facebook or something, but before, when I had longer hair and I had stopped wearing the head covering on the videos, as soon as I would shut the camera off, I would go put something back on it, put my hair back in a ponytail and put something back on it, because I really prefer it covered. I prefer all of my hair out of the way and kept under control with something on it. I suppose I'm strange that way. But it has nothing to do with religion. It more has to do with convenience and the fact that I'm fighting this idea that wearing a covering or wearing a tichel or a hijab has anything to do with oppression or something that's enforced. It's, for a lot of women, a choice. And for me, it's a choice. And I challenge anybody to ask me about it. I'll tell you that. My scarf fell down. I think her name is Uni. There's a music artist. There's a singer. I think it's Uni. She's Muslim. And she wears hers in many different ways. She has turtlenecks or mock necks that she'll wear, and she will wear a turban. As long as, see, my arms aren't fully covered, because I've said in videos previous, I don't worry about my arms being covered. I only worry about my chest area being covered. And I'm not so concerned about my neck either. But she wears like a turtleneck or a mock neck, and then a turban, or she'll wear the scarf just on one side and then wear the turtleneck or the mock neck. I think that they actually have not a full-length shirt, but something that you can put on underneath, although I don't remember what they're called. My mother had a few when I was little. They're like a false front. Anyway, I hope that that answers your question and that I haven't totally stirred up a great deal of opinion on the subject. I don't think I'm going to give up wearing it anytime soon. I really prefer it, and I don't care what everybody else out there is assuming about me wearing it. It's my choice. So, anyway, I hope you have a good day, and I will talk to you later. Talk at you later. Bye. Oh, and I forgot your name. Completely randomly me. This was your question. So if you want to tell me your name, I'll write it down so that next time I can actually address the video to you. Because when somebody asks me a question specifically and I answer it in video form, I like to say who I'm answering it for. So talk to you guys later. Talk at you later. Bye.